Markelle Fultz and his broke jumper have been among the strangest and most disappointing stories in recent NBA history. But that narrative is all gonna change next season. What's good, everybody? With all this LeBron, Kawhi, Boogie Cousins drama stealing headlines all summer, one very interesting storyline regarding last year's #1 overall pick has somehow gone under the radar, which is probably actually a blessing in disguise, because the last thing Markelle Fultz needs is more pressure. Fultz's trainer this summer, Drew Hanlon, we'll get back to him later, explained that last season, Markelle just had one of the most documented cases of the yips where he just completely forgot how to shoot the basketball. And recently, after working with Fultz all summer, he tweeted that Sixers fans should get excited. I know all the Sixers fans are salivating at that one, and I'm with you, by the way. But before we get into all that, let's look at the details of this whole freaky Fultz situation. Now, we all heard the news about how Fultz had some shoulder injury that prevented him from lifting his arm all the way up, which affected his ability to shoot. But that injury, by all accounts, should never have kept a player off the court for 6 entire months. And technically, Fultz really wasn't off the court for those 6 months. He was just off the NBA courts. Sixers head coach Brett Brown straight up let everybody know the deal in January. When the press asked whether Fultz needed to be 100% ready to return, all Brown said was, to return, he just needs to be able to shoot the basketball. This idea that Markelle's issues were more mental than physical gained way more traction when, after finally playing an NBA game for the first time in 6 months, with all the media attention on him, the dude just flat out ignores every question about his injury. It was like Marshawn Lynch, but worse. Because at least Marshawn had like a little phrase that he repeated. Fultz just stood there, wiped his face, and didn't say a word for like 20 seconds until the next question was asked. To be clear, I didn't have any problem with what he did. I didn't think it was pretentious or arrogant or anything like that. But come on now. The dude had to know that the national media would be on his ass after that. All he needed to do was take a few moments at the start of the press conference and explain how he doesn't want to answer any questions about the injury and how he just wants to move forward and focus on the future rather than the past. Instead, by ignoring the reporter, he had every sports show talking about him, he had every radio show talking about him, which is the exact thing he was trying to avoid in the first place. But anyways, let's get back to the present. Remember Drew Hanlon? Well, first of all, this guy is not some ordinary trainer. Since popping up on the scene a few years back, he's worked with Jordan Clarkson, Bradley Beal, Mo Bamba, Jason Tatum, Joel Embiid, and other big-name NBA guys. And this summer, he added Markelle's name to that impressive list. Hanlon was tasked with the seemingly impossible task of turning this abomination back into that pure stroke that made Fultz the #1 pick in the draft a few years back. I mean, we all have to remember that Markelle Fultz was the prohibitive, unquestioned #1 pick in one of the strongest draft classes and strongest point guard classes on paper in recent memory. Lonzo Ball, De'Aaron Fox, Donovan Mitchell, Dennis Smith. Fultz was supposed to be better than all those guys. Even LeVar wasn't saying Lonzo would go #1 because he knew Fultz was a better prospect. That's how good this guy was supposed to be, and how good he still can be. Now, a lot of people thought Markelle's best path back to that level of greatness was to participate in the 2018 Summer League. But the Sixers trusted Drew Hanlon so much that they decided it would be better to just allow Fultz to focus on perfecting that jumper with Hanlon. And I don't blame them. Again, with Hanlon's recent tweets about Fultz, fans should be excited. And even more fuel was added to the fire when Brett Brown recently said that he has tremendous optimism and confidence that Fultz will have a hell of a year next year. And then just a few days later, Drew Hanlon posted this footage on his YouTube channel of Fultz just absolutely silking shots, nothing but net. Unfortunately, we weren't shown any clips of the new shooting form, but the results look damn good. Let me remind you guys, Fultz's NBA comparison coming out of the draft was James Harden with better defense. MVP James Harden. And with that jumper back, if he can just get over the nerves and play anything like we know he can, the league better look out, because he'll have everybody trusting the process. That's all I got for this one, guys. If you're new and love all things sports, think about hitting that subscribe button. Thanks for watching, everybody. I'm out.